Now, Ralston reports.
Welcome back across Nevada to Ralston Reports. It's been 12 years since Metro Police and Henderson Charles Barnard were there on the same night at his house. He was cuffed, pepper sprayed, and roughed up when he opened the door to Metro Police officers looking for Barnard's brother. Barnard, who says he's endured 9 surgeries since then, eventually sued. In 2007, a federal judge named, guess what, Brian Sandoval, granted the police department's motion for summary judgment, dismissed the case. An appeal and trial followed. And now, this month, the Ninth Circuit is affirming the verdict in favor of Barnard. He joins us along with his attorney, Paola Armeni. Thanks for coming on the program. I really appreciate it. Congratulations. It looks like you're finally going to get some money after all these years. I want people to know, and distill this as quickly as possible, what happened that night?
3 officers came to my residence, said that they were Las Vegas Metro and that I was surrounded by 20 SWAT officers, and if I didn't open the door in 30 seconds, they were going to kick the door down. And I came out. They asked me my name, you know, a bunch of different questions.
They were looking for your brother?
They were looking for my brother, David, yes.
Does your brother David look like you? Because is he close in age to you?
Yeah, he's a year older than I am, but you wouldn't, if he was sitting here beside me, you wouldn't even know we were brothers.
And so then what happened next?
They told me to turn around and put my hands on the wall, and Officer Theobald went to handcuff me, and when he cuffed me, he tripped over. There was a little flower pot sitting on a TV stand, and he fell and pulled me down on him, and Officer Romanovich then fell on us, and then Officer Gary Clark then grabbed me in a chokehold and pulled me up and away, and when he did, Officer Theobald still had a hold of the handcuffs, and it collapsed 5 vertebrae in my cervical spine. And
you've had 9 surgeries since then?
Yes, and I got I'm fused from C3 down to T1, and I've had a spinal cord implant implanted in me, and yeah.
And so this has taken a long time. One thing that frustrates me about this kind of thing is you read how this happened in 2001, lawsuit in 2003, and finally, what, 10 years later, he's finally going to get, what, $1.6 million?
That's right. I mean, it's a very long process. The average person gets worn down in these kind of lawsuits.
Right.
And they have to go the long haul, and to Chuck's benefit, or to credit, actually, I mean, he really, really stuck in this when a lot of people probably would have given up.
Maybe you had a good attorney, too? You didn't want to say that?
Maybe.
Well, but I guess what I'd ask, and let me play devil's advocate here, because he described it exactly how it's described in the suit, and I've read it. It's a chaotic situation. They're looking for his brother. And maybe they're not sure. You know, he doesn't have his driver's license with him. So maybe they think it's his brother, even though his brother doesn't look like him. And then this guy, you know, trips over the flower pot, accidentally pulls him down. It's a mistake. They weren't trying to hurt the guy. It's just a mistake. What about that?
And that was what they said. They said they thought, actually, Metro's position at the time was that Chuck was actually resisting. But when we went to trial, the argument was they never used a chokehold. So, you know, the only thing they admitted to was the use of the pepper spray and that a knee in somewhat of maybe his lower back region. So we were already having conflicting stories right there. And that's why these cases are so important to go to trial, because you really need a jury to look at all the facts and make a decision, hear both sides, and figure out what really happened on the night of the event.
I think you were surprised, maybe a little bit scared when you first went out there, but you never resisted, right? I mean, you allowed them to handcuff you. The chaos ensued after the guy trips over the flower pot, right?
Yes, sir. It did, and he was against the west wall and I'm facing him just like me and you are sitting here, and I'm leaning against him, and I have my left arm trying to keep my weight off that fella, and the other officer is beside me, and he's got a hold of my handcuff on my right wrist, and then Clark grabs me in a chokehold and pulls me up and away while he still had a hold of the handcuff, and like I said, it collapsed 5 vertebrae in my cervical spine.
Does $1.6 million cover everything? Or however much you're going to get out of that, does it cover everything? Forget about, I mean, obviously the trauma, all that stuff, you can't put a price on that, but what about your medical bills?
Yeah, I think that I had insurance, you know, at the time to you know, to help out with the medical bills and stuff.
You think it's a just sum?
I think what the jury originally awarded was a just sum.
That was 2.1, I believe,
yes,
right?
Yes, sir. And what the judge did when he reduced it $500,000 for no reason, I think that was unjust.
When we come back, I do want to ask you about this. There's an interesting legal issue involved in this case that Brian Sandoval was involved in. It's the issue of these officers claiming what's called qualified immunity. Why does that exist? And should the officers have claimed it? Stick around.
Find archive programs by going online to mynews3.com and clicking on Ralston Reports.